And welcome to the Cryptonaut Podcast. I am Mark Storrs, and with me as always is
Rob Morphy.
So unfortunately, Christopher will not be joining us this week and probably for a couple other weeks here. He was recently diagnosed with COVID and also pneumonia. So
Jesus.
Unfortunately, yeah, I know it sucks. Unfortunately, he won't be with us for a little while he's while he's healing up. He is currently having a little stint in the hospital. He's getting IV fluids. He's getting antibiotics. So he's good. He's on the mend. It's just, it's probably better to keep him in the hospital to get all the fluids in him, get him back in Chris order. So
absolutely pump him full of antibiotics, do the things that need to be done or whatever it is. Yeah. I mean, It's scary because you don't want, basically a brother of yours at ground zero of a COVID high at the big reunion. But on the other hand, if all the protocols are followed, the best place to be is where you can get constant medical supervision. And he's and I'm seeing little signs of the old Chris showing back up too. So that's nice.
Yeah. I've been text messaging with him, so we're communicating. He is feeling better. He apparently has a roommate he's not too fond of, which, it sucks that he's there. And it sucks even worse, apparently, that his roommate and him are not necessarily, coalescing as they would like to, but yeah, so, we wanted to just kind of make the announcement because it's going to be Rob and I for the next couple of weeks, but fear not, Christopher is on the mend. He will be back. We will update you weekly with how he's doing and when he'll be getting out. So yeah, I guess, why don't we all just channel all of our cool energy, all of our esoteric, witchy, galactic energy, and just kind of wish him better, push all that over to him to get better and get away from that awful roommate that he's with. And then we can get him back on the show and rolling his eyes and everything will be good.
Absolutely. I mean, he's starting to get his temper back, which I love. So let's throw some noetic science on top of, the witchy crystal mayhem and all the other good positivity we can throw together because shit, he could sure use it. And yeah, before you know it, the trio will be reassembled. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. I say
Exactly. Also too, just a quick update with my brother's situation. I'm back home, a little bit tired, but I think that's totally normal. The stem cells, everything they have been transplanted over to him. He actually refers to it as swamp juice. So they've pulled the swamp juice from my bones and given it to him. It was a pretty easy procedure. The shots are a little bit uncomfortable, but it's no big deal. I call it exploding bone syndrome, where it feels like your bones are going to explode from all the shots they give you to stimulate all the stem cells. But 3 hours on the machine and then 11 minutes took for his transplant. So he's there. He's actually, I talked to him today. He's actually feeling much better.
Oh, that's great.
I think he's like 4 days into the bone marrow transplant. So that's all, awesome. Dave's doing good. And yeah, cancertiger.com. Thank you to everybody who has donated to that and helped kind of financially support him. It's huge. It's so awesome to see all that support come out from my little brother. He has a long road ahead of him, but now, because of the money that we've raised and are continuing to raise, his financial future is going to be a little bit more secure until he gets back to work. So thank you all for that. That is awesome. Please keep sharing that link.
Best. Absolutely.
Yep, and keep sharing that link, cancertiger.com, and anything helps. So yeah.
Keep him away from the pandemic world. I mean, it's dangerous enough in his condition when, it's normal shitbag bacteria Earth, but fucking nowadays, you guys have really helped him to stay safe. And that's great. You're super generous. And thank you too for all the goodwill for both Chris and Dave. You guys are the fucking best.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you all. Continuing on here, we have Patreon, patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast. $1 is the shout out, $5 is the shout out, and the bonus audio. Robert, we've got some Patreon shout outs. Let's do them. Good, sir.
Absolutely. Let's start with Isaac Golden.
Hell yeah, Isaac.
Ryan Holbrook.
Oh shit, what's up, Ryan? He's been a long time listener.
Right on. Paul Drury.
Hell yeah, Paul.
Diego H.
What's up, Diego?
Aaron Adams.
Hell yeah, Aaron.
Jason the Tempest Storm. Yeah. I added the Tempest. That's not really his nickname, but if you want it, Jay, you're welcome to take it. Thank you, nice. Jason Storm.
Thank you, Jason.
Tom Adams. Look at that. It's a good, sturdy, colonial American name. Well done.
He's gonna come put your roof on for you. Hell yeah, Tom.
So he's Tom, the founding father Adams.
Exactly.
2 nicknames.
Exactly. I love it.
Sanjay Alamseti. I think I said it right. If not, you know the deal. Louise La. Again, doing my best, but thank you, Louise La. And, this is so short and sweet, Sarah.
Boom. There you go. Sarah. My sister's name, as a matter of fact. There it is. Sarah. Thank
Sarah,
you all.
The Sarah. That's your nickname.
Sarah. The Sarah triple. There it is. Thank you all for your continued support. It means the world to us. Robert and I just released a Patreon episode I think it was Friday night, where we realized that the entire podcast, we didn't know what fundaments was, but we quickly figured it out.
That night was pretty fun. I can't believe the turnaround time. We literally recorded it and you had it out in hours, which is fucking nuts.
Yeah, sometimes I just put the pedal to the metal and just do it.
And secondly, what I've learned is that I'm so sharp when I'm mixing my booze and cold meds, because while I am probably the healthiest of all the people we're dealing with in our lives right now, I have a hellified sinus infection and cold. And so I was on fucking NyQuil and wine infused with Alka-Seltzer cold and flu, which as a flavor choice, maybe not so fucking brilliant, but as a sleep aid, phenomenal.
So you were abusing a hobo Moscato?
It's true. I was. Now that's no excuse. I should still know what a fundament was. I had no idea it was an ass. That would have made it even funnier. But for anyone that's not a patron, what you're missing is fucking a world with 3-headed, 8-legged, triple-assed elephants of rainbow hue rummaging around both Long Island and I think Canada. This is the kind of shit that you get on Patreon and deal with your fundaments.
Well, I mean, I thought it was 3 dicks, so I guess who's the asshole now?
Oh, yeah, we were talking about... it doesn't matter. Jesus Christ.
Is what it is. What are you going to do? Fundaments ahoy. Anyway.
Oh, we are dumb.
Oh, we are. Let's get started with this week's episode, the Westmoreland Wildman. I want to say that like a radio DJ every time I say that. I can't help it. I just can't help it. All right, here we go. During the early 1970s, Pennsylvania played host to a spate of sightings of odd, red-eyed, white-haired, technologically endowed humanoid monstrosities, plane-like UFOs, and a typical father who walked into the woods alone and came out a changed man who was now filled with visions of the coming apocalypse.
That's no way for Dad to come out of the woods.
You want
him to be pissy. You want him to dominate the remote control. You want him to fucking watch the game that you don't give a fuck about because there's going to be like an In Search of Marathon. Yeah, I'm going back to my own childhood here. Identify with what you will. But all that having been said, you don't want Dad to go in fucking Dad and come out fucking Nostradamus. But
yeah,
that's how things happen sometimes. Starting as we often do, the locale. Nestled in the southwestern portion of Pennsylvania, Westmoreland County is known for its numerous state parks, but during the tail end of the summer of 1973, it also played host to one of the strangest crypto-ufological microflaps in paranormal history. And I'm going to define microflaps. I don't know if anyone's ever used the term before, but what I mean is, unlike, say, Mothman or other like Hudson Valley UFO flap that has a lot of things happening over a sustained period, this is more like the El Zeta anomalies or, Casablanca or something, where it's a bunch of shit crammed into one little time frame. This tandem increase in both Bigfoot and flying saucer sightings led some members of the Westmoreland County Unidentified Flying Object Study Group, yeah, that's a thing.
Oh boy.
Which had recently expanded the parameters of its purview to include within its research boundaries cases involving cryptozoological phenomenon, that the incidents, which were increasing in frequency and intensity, implied more than a casual connection between these superficially disparate phenomena. At about 9:30 p.m. on the night of September 27th, 1973, a pair of unidentified girls were standing alone in a densely wooded rural region of Westmoreland, waiting for a ride when they got the scare of their young lives. First and foremost, I know 73 wasn't a key year for stranger danger, but I think based on the story and the report I got, I'm going to mention in a minute, from Colin and Janet Board, the brilliant British researchers and authors about all sorts of paranormal stuff. Their Alien Animals book is essential reading. That having been said, it's implied that they're teenagers, I think. And just the thought of first off, how'd they get in the middle of the fucking woods? Are they Gretel and Gretel? I don't know what the deal is with this. And who's going to pick them up? I hope it's not some dodgy dude who dropped out of high school, like a less hot Matthew McConaughey from Dazed and Confused. But either way, I'm worried about these kids. And this is problematic, but shit's going to get worse because, as I said, scare their young lives. One of my favorite phrases.
It does have like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre feel to it. So yeah, don't get in the van. Well, actually, don't let the dude in the van and he'll take your picture. It's weird.
There's all sorts of problems. Just don't involve vans. Yeah, avoid a van.
Get a Prius. You're fine.
Likely already anxious about being alone near a shadow-shrouded forest after dark, the girls were shocked when a, quote, white, hairy creature with red eyes who stood nearly 8 feet tall emerged from the thicket. While white hair has been reported, albeit rarely, on other Sasquatch-like beasts, this pale apparition was made even more unique in the annals of Bigfoot lore by having features that appeared to be more humanoid and less simian, resembling an account that hailed from Blakesley, Pennsylvania, which took place just 3 years before. According to eyewitness Annette B., the creature she saw in 1970, which stood between 6 and 7 feet tall with a broad chest, a long neck, totally unlike your normal Sasquatch, and a coat of dingy off-white fur, looked very much like the one seen by the 2 unnamed girls in 1973. Annette went on to describe the face of the beast she saw as, quote, its eyes were dark and spaced far apart. Its white hair covered the lower half of its face. There was pinkish skin around the eyes and forehead. It looked like its hair was a little longer on its head and hanging over its forehead like bangs. Huh. It also had solid colored eyes. So it wasn't just an old dude, with a white beard and bangs who happened to be unusually tall. It had a hairy torso too.
It wasn't Sam Elliott just walking around being Sam Elliott?
It could have been Sam Elliott. It's
okay,
either right. Sam Elliott or an unknown proto-hominid or a Bigfoot hybrid with a lucky lady or dude locally. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have some...
I do love the bangs, though. The bangs are a nice touch because not a lot of cryptids have the courage to go for bangs. And not a lot can pull, like a chupacabra cannot pull off bangs.
Oh, God, it would look horrible. Jeez.
These fuckers.
They got it.
But whereas Annette and her sister had been unable to see the beast's hands, as they were obscured by dense undergrowth, the girls involved in the Westmoreland encounter saw that the creature was carrying in its gargantuan palm a bizarre object which they described as a, quote, luminescent sphere. This anomalous orb begs comparison to the wand that was allegedly wielded by one of the Loveland Frogmen in May of 1955. All-time favorite, first pod,
Yeah.
These cases seem to represent just a handful of potentially cryptozoological events that are said to involve cryptids wielding ostensibly advanced technological devices. Usually the twain don't meet. Aliens and devices, always. Fucking cryptids, though these might well be aliens too, who the fuck knows, not so much. In their exhaustively researched The Bigfoot Casebook published in 1982, Janet and Colin Board, the aforementioned, reported that one specific incident implied more than a casual connection between these two distinct phenomena, that is, Bigfoot and UFOs, writing, shocked, the girls ran home and told what they had seen to the father of one of them. He went into the woods to search for the creature and was away for more than an hour.
Oh, wow. He just fucking took up rank and was like, all right, girl, stay here. I'm going to go get me a Bigfoot and take that goddamn sphere from his goddamn non-human hands.
I know. You have to wonder, like, was he armed? You hope almost, because the fuck are you going to do if you meet an 8-foot tall, whitish, hairy humanoid fucking holding the fucking orb of doom? What are you going to do?
You got to have something with you, and you probably don't want to go alone. I mean, like if my kids are like, Dad, there's, it's never really happened. But we had an incident with a chipmunk in the house, and I was like, it's when my son screamed, "Get the gun!" and I'm like, "What gun?" And there's no fucking gun. Like, Jesus Christ!
Oh my God, get the gun!
Yeah, get the gun! I'm like, well, okay, get one. I don't have one, so sure. But yeah, hopefully he went there safely. But I'm sure there'll be more on that coming up.
While the father was gone for that prolonged period of time, no doubt enhancing the anxiety that had already enveloped the two terrified girls, it emerged that the white wild man was not the only unidentified object spotted in the vicinity, as the boards chronicled, and quote, several people in the area stated that during the time the man was in the woods, an object that looked like an airplane was seen stationary in the sky above the woods, and that it shone a bright beam of light down into the trees, end quote. So what the fuck is, it's great if you're, because we even talked about in the fucking Mothman miasma of a UFO transforming behind, changing its clothes behind a cloud and coming out looking and sounding like a plane. And a lot of people have suggested that if they have the technology to traverse the cosmos or interdimensional barriers, they certainly can change the way they look on the outside. All that's plausible, but if you take the time to look like a fucking plane and then freeze over the woods with a spotlight, you are not thinking this fucking through.
Dude, remember my Predator lifestyle? Active camo.
Active camo. There it is.
There it is. Boom.
This is what led many in the community to conclude that there must be at least a tentative connection between the beast and the UFO that was hovering over the area wherein it was seen. Could this indicate that this entity hails not from the vicinity of Pittsburgh, which is, of course, where Westmoreland County is, but from out of this world? Either way, according to a WCUFOSG representative, that's not a mouthful at all. Your acronym, Westmoreland Study Group, needed work.
It's awful.
This already peculiar situation was about to get even more unsettling for one of the families involved, and the boards go on to say. The investigator from the Westmoreland Study Group knew the girl's father, who confirmed that his daughter had seen the Bigfoot, but he denied that he had gone into the woods and forbade anyone else to go into the woods, stating, and this is a quote from the dad, "Some things are better left alone," end quote.
So he is saying he didn't go into the woods.
He's now denying it. The daughter and her friend, and presumably maybe his wife or anyone else that was in the house, is like, yeah, he was gone. He was gone for an hour. We were scared shitless. He came back and and he's admitting that, Sally saw something weird by the side of the road, a Bigfoot, they're calling it, even though it does not seem to be a traditional Bigfoot.
Right.
But he's like, I didn't go in the woods, and you don't go in the fucking woods. And I'm telling you, there's some shit you better not fucking do. One of them's going into the woods. Some things are better left alone. And that's so goddamn cryptic and ominous that I love it.
All I can think of is Herman Munster from fucking Pet Cemetery, where it's like, sometimes the dead are better left dead. And you're like, what do you know? Huh? What do you know?
It would be great if in the middle of Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, this dude had a thick Maine accent, as employed by Fred Gwynn. God bless him.
I can never remember his name. I just know him as fucking the fucking Munster there. So,
and a prolific children's book author and illustrator. The more you fucking know. There you go.
Fucking R.I.P. fucking Herman Munster. Shit.
As if his flat-out denial of what multiple witnesses had already confirmed to be true were not strange enough, the unidentified father would undergo an even more dramatic evolution. Again, according to the boards. Quote, since the incident, the man appeared to have experienced a personality change. According to the people close to him, soon after he acquired a book of prophecies and would often talk about the coming end of the world.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. This latter part of the story, the boards continue, is typical of UFO contactee cases, though the nature of the connection between these UFO-oriented incidents and the Bigfoot sighting remains unclear, which is fair and true. Who knows? I go on to write. The biggest question that stems from the father's sudden interest in apocalyptic and prophetic texts is what exactly happened to him during his hour-long sojourn in the monster-infested and apparently UFO-patrolled forest. Did he have the kind of encounter reported by so many alien contactees, wherein his extraterrestrial hosts imparted upon him a dire warning regarding the future of humanity? As we've mentioned many times, happens time and time again. I believe it happened in Dubno. It absolutely happened to the poor kids in the Ariel school encounter. It goes on and on. People that are familiar with ufological lore know that abductees talking about being shown Earth being destroyed at the hands of humankind is a very common theme. Did he speak, I continue, to the Wildman itself? And why, besides basic concern for his family's safety, did he forbid anyone else from entering the woods? So I suppose that this thing that looks vaguely like a Bigfoot, and you could forgive something. I mean, if something, is hopping around and looks from a distance to be a kangaroo, even if it turns out to be a fuck-sucking devil monkey, you can be forgiven for thinking it's a kangaroo at first. So I understand why an 8-foot-tall hairy thing you're going to lump into the Sasquatch pile. But this thing is more human-faced, like the one seen on the other side of Pennsylvania a few years before. It seemed to have a neck, other attributes that make it more humanistic. And let's not fucking forget the orb, the glowing sphere of whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe he wanted maybe it's like a glowing extraterrestrial beta fish that he wanted like a hoop toss at a fucking local Italian fest or some sort of regional carnival.
Or it could be possibly like a wayfinder or like a weapon. I mean, who knows what it is? But he has it in his hand that's glowing, and it's in the middle of the night. So you're sticking out like a sore fucking thumb.
And it's got to like underlight his features in classic campfire story mode. So no matter how fucking freaky and inhuman it already looked to these girls, fucking the underlighting is not going to help put them at ease.
No.
So maybe it's just a creepy flashlight. Who the fuck knows what it is? But
it's weird. Yeah, it's like weird LED tech or something.
But why is this guy different? And here's the problem, because so many, we say this a million times. The best stories, the best cryptozoological and extraterrestrial encounters we will never hear about. The most engaging stories, probably even the best evidence, are things that people will take with them to their grave. And that's sad, but I understand. It's a lot to ask of someone to come out with some of these encounters. But I would love it if this guy was more forthcoming. I would love it if he explained that, either he was abducted or he ran into the white thing and the white thing telepathically or verbally communicated to him using the orb as a translator or whatever fucking happened. Because what didn't happen is he walked in the woods, was gone for an hour, saw nothing, came back, lied about being in the woods, and denied his family woods privileges from there forth. That is the one thing I can't abide by.
Yeah, I mean, he's claiming he didn't do it. So either he's hiding something, which sounds to me like if the girls were saying he did it, they would have no reason to say my dad went out there in the woods. Just he'd be like, oh yeah, he's cool. So if he went out there and did it, maybe he did have some sort of weird encounter where he was like, yep, not talking about this shit again. And then he has his book of prophecies and he's preaching on the fucking street corner and starts boozing, losing his job, loses a house, wife leaves. There you go. Living in a hotel.
I mean, yeah, that could have gone completely, Falkville Metal Man route where dude's life just completely shit the bed. Or maybe he just returned to normal and, put it out of his mind. I guess I'm rooting for that because I don't, to fundamentally be changed is scary. Even if it's for the better, it's scary at first, and it's scary for your loved ones because I think we've all known somebody that's like found something in their life that changed the trajectory of it. And even if it's for the best, it's fucking weird for the people around them that love them.
No, it sucks. Yeah, totally.
So for his family's sake, I guess I hope that he found some sort of equilibrium, or at least they made peace with the change. But prophecy, Dad, it's going to be a hard fucking road to hoe.
It's a bummer, man. You can't hang out with prophecy, Dad. He's always fucking screaming about the end of the world, being all crazy and shit. It's like nobody wants that, Dad. It's a bummer.
No, I mean, it's gonna. You know what it ruins more than anything else? Waffle sundaes. You just can't enjoy it.
Yeah.
You see the way the syrup flows into the grooves? Like the lava will fill the damned cities of the damned souls that are damned. Yeah, Dad. Pass the butter. What are you going to fucking do?
Like the blood will run down your face and collect in your eyes and you won't see and you'll burn in the eternal pit of hell. And you're like, oh, God damn it, Dad. It's Christmas. Calm down.
Just like that, Dad.
Just exactly.
Here, I
just
got you a tie. Enjoy it.
Yeah, Merry Christmas,
when you're on the street corner, you want to look good.
Yeah, you can't be looking like shit. Come on now.
All right. So I'll wrap it up and we'll just break this down to the best of our abilities. Unfortunately, it seems as if these long unanswered questions, all the ones we just posited, are destined to remain that way. Unless, of course, he confided into someone after the event. But seeing as nearly 50 years have transpired since the incident, it makes sense to keep our hopes for any sort of revelation to a minimum. It's also worth noting that Westmoreland County had been a hotbed of more traditional Bigfoot sightings throughout the 1970s, in particular 1973. So
Okay.
That's
So
another
there's a
reason this
connection.
thing might have been associated with Bigfoot, or maybe other things that we're seeing were associated with Bigfoot that may or may not have been related. We don't honestly know. And that is because it was a big old hairy hominid flap.
Right.
This, however, is the only encounter we've come across of this specific type of orb-bearing beast, one which may well have shown up in another part of Pennsylvania just years before. That's an article you can find on Cryptopia called The Pocono Wildman, and seems to have left at least one family permanently affected by the event.
Oh shit! Yeah, prophecy dad's not going back to normal. Probably.
Probably not.
That's it.
I mean, it's hard. Maybe you move away. Maybe things change, or maybe he's right. But that's another scary thing. I just watched. There's this new show that just came out. I think it's going to be on Discovery Plus, their pay internet channel or whatever. And it's called UFO Witness, and they played the first one on normal TV. And it has that Ben dude. I think it was on Fact or Faked or one of those shows where they pursue like videos. He's like a former FBI agent. I don't remember much about that show, but and of course they're covering the Nimitz encounter, and they talk to the guy that they talk to second most to Fravor, and that is his name is Kevin. I'm drawing a blank on his last name. He was the guy in charge of the radar during the Nimitz encounter, who actually encouraged the planes, the captain to send planes out to inspect what was happening. And then the Tic Tac was seen, and it's like the stuff of legend. It's R. Roswell, at least the 21st century's most epic ufological event. And what I'd never seen before, I'd seen him interviewed many times and heard a few, was like he started having nightmarish apocalyptic dreams following and all he did was encounter the radar, sightings. And one could say that, yes, of course, once something like this insinuates itself into your mind, and he's a military man, so he's thinking in terms of defending the United States. And so when he sees things that can like outfly our best aerial vehicles, it makes sense that there would be some fallout and residue in the form of bad dreams. But the way he seems so emotionally moved, and then he went on to say something along the lines of, this terrible thing is coming, and no matter how much we don't want it to happen, I'm paraphrasing, of course, it's coming, and we've got to learn to deal with it. So I thought to myself, I hadn't seen that aspect of his testimony. It had always been cut and dry. I mean, he was a Top Gun trained radar operator, one of the best in the entire American military. And I believe what he saw, and obviously it's confirmed on video by another pilot and the eyewitness accounts of Fravor and the others, even if they're still anonymous at this point. But the fact that he left, even at a distance, feeling this, it makes me wonder, are they implanting these thoughts in people's heads as a warning to get us to really get our shit together, as optimists tend to think, like, we care about you, stop fucking around, this is a valuable piece of real estate you're on, whether it's the hard drive of the universe, as the Dubno abductors claimed, or something else. Maybe life is literally just that rare that they don't want to see any of it fucking go up in flames. Or is it actually them instilling terror of what is inevitable, which doesn't make much sense, but whatever? Or is it a psychological warfare technique to make us all utterly terrified? Which is another thing he said, actually, in this interview. I suggest anyone at least watch that episode just to hear what he has to say, which he said his greatest fear is that everyone on Earth simultaneously feels the terror that he has undergone, and what could happen as a result to the entirety of the human race and how we go forward. And if that is psychological warfare, I know I'm expanding well beyond Westmoreland here, but that the prophecy dad, it just makes you think of it. Like, if this is a tactic and we can't help but be affected by it, well, fuck.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking though too, I mean, just given the time and given what had happened, if he did in fact go out there, and it could just be something as simple as seeing this thing, that he did encounter it. And that's what changed his worldview. Because if you're just living this normal life and all of a sudden, your kid comes home, I saw some crazy shit, like, all right, calm down, Margaret, I'm going to go out there and see what it is. And you're probably thinking, goddamn kid smoking the marijuana, blah, blah, blah. You get out there, and the next thing you know, your whole fucking worldview is changed when you see this Harry the Henderson looking motherfucker with a giant orb in his hand. You're like, oh, fuck, now I got to reevaluate everything. And I'm sure, given, and I'm not sure if he was a religious person could easily be like, oh shit, that's a demon or a devil. And then all of a sudden, boom, prophecy dad is born because he saw the oncoming storm of the demons.
Oh, so you're thinking that there's a chance that he misinterpreted this as a religious event, and that made him all the more fervent. And of course, a lot of very fervently religious people are all about, the happy side of Jesus, doing as unto others. And a whole bunch are way into that last chapter where it's like, keep the one that no one talks about. I'll set you on fire myself, you son of a bitch. Yeah. And that is, of course, problematic, but not untrue. So
right. So I'm thinking maybe just seeing this could have tipped him off. But then again, as you mentioned earlier in the article, the whole contactee, they do tend to come out a little prophetic and like the end of the world's coming because the fucking aliens told me so. But the guy's not saying that the alien said shit or that the Bigfoot said anything.
No, he's just denying the whole affair. Yeah, he's denying he ever left the couch,
Which kind of makes me think that if he did, in fact, have a discussion with this thing, he'd be like, holy fuck, girls, you're never going to guess what happened. Sit down and let Papa tell you the story. Instead, he's just like, no, nothing happened, and we're all fucked, and the end of the world's coming. Well, enjoy the blood in your face. Happy Easter.
All right, fair enough. But that having said, he's not your generation of dad. He is the dad of a teenager, presumably. So if say she was just 13, she would have been born in 1960. He's of a different fucking generation, and they aren't necessarily the ones that come home and like, oh, baby doll, come here. I got a whole story to tell you about the wonders of the universe and why we must be cautious of our environment. Right. And Al Gore is going to come and explain it better, but let me lay the first chapter down. That's bullshit. He would be taciturn as fuck. He would totally be stoic and dad-like and hide it. So even though it may be presumptuous that he was abducted and indoctrinated by aliens, I admit that's complete speculation. I could very easily believe a dad could have a life-changing event and never once want to, involve his wife or his daughter or his son, anybody, just because they protect their family. And that was, the code of the West back then. Dad honor.
The code of the dad. Say nothing, do nothing, be nothing but a dad. There you go. Work, retire, and die. There it is.
Wow. There it is. That's your new tat.
So, all right. Yeah. It should be what?
Your new tat.
Oh, Jesus.
Write it in Latin, though, so it seems even more cryptic and awesome.
I'll put it on my neck. It'll look awesome when I go to all the fucking PTA meetings. It'll be sweet if there ever is any more PTA meetings. So, all right, there's an angle to it too. Now, so heading back a little bit further though, back in the story here, when we were talking about the Bigfoot and the orb, and the leveling frog and their wand, and what this thing is carrying.
Yeah, technology, weird.
So yeah, basically, like if we're dealing with some sort of cryptid that has some sort of technological device with it, I mean, I guess we kind of definitely want to go alien. I want to open up the door to the interdimensional Bigfoot because this could be the device he uses to traverse time and space to come here with his shamanistic ways.
If there was ever a time for you to fucking propose interdimensional Bigfoot, it is this creature with this tool, with Chris recovering, thank God, and not here to chastise you.
So, interestingly enough, as I said that at the same time from Wisconsin, I heard Adam Benedict just let out a giant groan, and then I heard Chris's eyes roll. So yeah. But regardless, I will stand by my interdimensional Bigfoot man, and I will fucking preach the prophecies of it could be an interdimensional Bigfoot. I have no evidence. I don't need any evidence because, in fact, I don't need any evidence.
Yeah, well, that is the truth. That is the part that never frustrates a straight scientist. I mean, we can malign people for not being open-minded all we want, but when you throw interdimensional big feet at them, you almost can't blame them for being fucking just pissed.
But I mean, if we are saying, let's say that aliens, are some form of interdimensional life form, right?
Okay.
So there's nothing saying that any cryptid couldn't fall under that same, group of being an interdimensional traveler. I mean, I'm not just, I obviously love my shamanistic Bigfoot, just, chilling in the fucking DMT realm and popping through to fucking, do whatever.
Sure.
But if these are just other interdimensional life forms that happen to pop into our plane of existence, that is a legit theory that has been put out there plenty of time. Not a lot of science behind it, but you know what? We don't need the science. We just need the belief.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, it does trace back to almost universally to almost any Native American or indigenous population where on one hand, you could easily say, yes, this is their actual reference point for this animal. It is spiritual. It might be interdimensional. It is not corporeal in the way we recognize it, which is why you don't find carcasses, all that stuff. But you could also say, and this is not throwing any, because all of our ancestors fell prey to this. When you don't have the science to understand what an eclipse is, then it is a fucking wolf eating the moon, or whatever the fucking, the Norse Vikings believed. It is whatever thing that you can use to fill the void of your ignorance. And I mean that just in the general sense of a lack of knowing, not like they're dumb. All of our ancestors were brilliant. It's shocking. And in fact, I think maybe civilization did erupt well before us, but that's a story for another pod. But fucking, it's shocking that, it took us this long to come this far, at least as far as we know, because they were brilliant. But if you just don't fucking know, and you don't know why things work, and you don't know where, say, Earth is in relation to the moon and the sun, just in terms of the eclipse, and go on and on and on with every other phenomenon that happens in the natural world, and half of the shit in it, if not 75%, wants to kill you anyway, then you build mythology to fill in the gaps. Now, if it's a highly intelligent corporeal thing, this, Sasquatch in general, and I'm sure there's many subdivisions. I don't think what's evolved to be the skunk ape, or maybe the same thing that's, the Honey Island swamp monsters, is the same thing as what is seen in the Pacific Northwest, is the same thing that is seen in the Himalayas, or, East Africa, or any of the places where hairy wild men are reported throughout the world. I mean, I think every continent except Antarctica has reports. I think there's like variations, and this might be a variation, but if they're intelligent, and very small populations that know how to just avoid us like the plague, I can buy most days that they could stay away from us. But then there's other times where I think, well, fuck, we should have fucking evidence. And if they're not goddamn interdimensional shaman, they don't exist. They either are fucking magical, or they fucking can't exist, because how can fucking so many people see them? But that's, right. That's Monday, Wednesday and Friday and Tuesday and fucking Saturday and Sunday and Thursday. I'm like, that's fucking stupid. Don't be so stupid, you stupid. And it's hard. Okay.
So to play cryptid advocate here, if this was in fact just a Bigfoot, maybe he picked up a flashlight. Maybe he was just walking around, happened to come across a flashlight, and then they obviously, if it is just a cryptid and not some sweet etheric fucking being, just coming into our world, maybe he just happened to come across a flashlight, clicks an eye, and is like, the fuck is this thing? And he's just, smart enough to understand. There's like, all right, well, this is some sort of, those weird hairless monkey people that fucking I see all over the place and hide from. This is one of their things, and he's just kind of walking around with it.
All right. Think of
there
this.
It is.
To help advocate for your theory that I know you don't really believe.
Not at all.
What would a flashlight bulb look like from the front? An orb of fucking light. So if it was just cradling, because a tiny flashlight in its giant hand, and it's aiming at the girls, it would look like a circle of light, and they obviously didn't stay long enough to really get a good look at any of it.
Yeah, and that's a bummer. I don't want to think that a Bigfoot just picked up a flashlight, even though technically that would be fucking huge. Then you're like, holy shit, a Bigfoot got the flashlight and then fucking saw it. But I'm all bummed out because it's not some interdimensional fucking sweet creature. So, I guess that's where my biases stand.
Dude, it just, obviously after our life-changing Mothman interlude, we've dealt a lot with the concept of window areas where things can seemingly migrate from different planes of existence, whether you want to call them dimensions, whatever. And so that idea, like I say, I've always taken umbrage with the general concept of ultra terrestrials, though I loathe those bastards, simply because that takes out any scientific rigor. It takes out all principles of how we study things in the natural world and figure them out. And I want to think, like, if we can figure out what bonobos are and fucking okapi and elephants and all the things we know, then damn it, I want to apply that same scientific rigor to unknown phenomenon to go at least as far as we can. Because once you open up that door, and I'm not saying it's not potentially a valid theory, it really is. You might as well be fucking Merlin taking a shit, reading a grimoire, and manifesting little toilet paper demons to bidet your ass into cleanliness or whatever. Fucking, it just, everything's, it's carte blanche. You have no restrictions.
Right.
And then I get overwhelmed, and then I get pissed. Then I'm like, what am I doing all this reading for? God damn it. I want to know the truth, the facts, the truth.
I mean, really, if you're looking at it as like a unified theory, as that whether it's fucking aliens or what we think are cryptids or paranormal or whatever, and I know Chris is not here to fucking hear this, but I'm sure he's going to feel it in the fucking force that connects us as brothers in podcasting and friends for life. If it is a giant umbrella theory where this is all connected, and Jacques Vallée and plenty of people have proposed this, that these things for some reason, whether it's interdimensional or however the fuck the science works out, I don't know, that's up to scientists to figure that shit out. If these are things coming through window areas or just manifestations or whatever that happen to come into our plane of existence, then I mean, it's not like it's totally shot. It's just that we're dealing with some other spectrum of reality that we might not necessarily understand at this moment, but maybe it's something that down the road, as science progresses as it wants to do and make corrections and whatnot, maybe it is something that at some point we'll be like, oh wow, shit, look, like Mark was right. I mean, I don't want to say it now, but
that's what the Nobel Prize winning scientists, who, by the way, I love how you say, hey, it's not for me to figure out. That's what science does. I'll lay down the thick lather of bullshit, but let the scientists take a bath and judge whether or not this is fucking fragrant enough.
I'm here just to commentate and to put in my pithy little bullshit. I'm not here to figure out stuff like science and research. That's not my bag. Come on, you know me.
I know that. But let me say this. I do think that there is, other dimensions are real. Other parallel worlds, science bears out as far as we know. The fact that there could be alternate Earths overlaid on ours, whatever they're called and whatever their physical disposition and fucking chemical contents may be, are all things I can abide by. What I can't abide by is the simple universality of the ultra-terrestrial and superspectrum theory as Keel posited it, which is to say every anomalous phenomenon from fucking Nessie to grinning men to fucking ghosts to UFOs are all manifestations of exactly one type of intelligence that can take any form it wants, coming from one specific place, though nebulous as fuck, called the superspectrum. To me, that is a gross oversimplification. Can some things maybe move in from other realities? Absolutely. And yet I still think the most lake monsters, if they're real, like Champ or Ogopogo and Once Upon a Time, God Bless Her, Nessie, or the Orang Pendek, or any number of things like that, are real animals, just undiscovered animals in the classic Bernard Hoovelman sense of cryptozoology, unknown animals. So I think there's room for a lot of different theories. There might be some UFOs that are extraterrestrial, might be some that are interdimensional, might be some that are from a species that evolved on Earth and went under the ocean way early, and they had just an extra billion years to become as brilliant as they are and avoid our detection. We think they're coming from someplace else because we believe we're the apex of all, intellect on this planet, but we could be like fifth or sixth down the fucking line, and that might be me being very generous. So I think there's room for all this shit. The table is like a big Valhallan table full of warriors, and each one's got a different style of fighting and a different amount they like to drink and gorge on mutton, and they all have room there. I refuse to think it's all just manifestations of the same fucking thing. A, because it's boring, and B, because science never works that way. It's never really that simple, unless you want to say everything breaks down to atoms, so suck it, Rob. In which case, I would say, all right, maybe, but still, fuck you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally respect and get where you're coming from. I don't necessarily think maybe it's coming from one specific area. What was that thing that John Keel, the ultra-terrestrials live in the magnetic fortress of solitude of Grayskull or some bullshit? What was it called?
I remember the super spectrum. I don't remember
there was some like magnetic field of hope and dreams and bananas or some shit. It was some. it was some.
I think I vaguely recall what you're saying. Like it might have been how they connect to us. I don't know,
some magnetic thing. I don't know.
I have purged John Keel so fucking far from my mind right now that I am like the least qualified to speak about it.
Right. So I guess where my angle was more not necessarily like ultra-terrestrial or just like, well, I guess they would be considered ultra-terrestrials, not coming from the same place, like the same race, but just sort of like an intermixing of realities upon reality. So it's like
now that I support,
yeah, no, but that's more of what I'm talking about.
Supports
is the
that
more physics angle of it. Yeah.
When you bring, I know we talk about it all the time. I don't give a fuck. It is one of my favorite John Carpenter films. When you bring like practical horror film sensibilities to quantum physics, you open literally any door you want in a way that seems kind of feasible. And so when people love to say, oh, it boggles the mind and it throws Newtonian fucking rationality, out the door where it lands on its ass and gets road rash. And all that's true and fine. But really that does allow for a much more complex and layered way of looking at the world. And while part of me wants to simplify it with the scientific method, and I do think some things are just fucking animals, like the ocean is chock full of things that might be qualified as sea serpents or things of that ilk that were once legend that someday, hopefully will be, designated and identified as protected species. But I do think that, that there are other things that probably are much more ethereal, much more complex, or maybe even you're talking about like the DMT realm where fucking like triangle-headed elves and Bigfoot fucking sip tea until they come through to fuck with us or help us out or whatever. Like if there's a place that we can, that's like literally cerebral, which is the ultimate like sci-fi MacGuffin, like this thing comes from the mind. Its power is all like light and thought and whatever. But if there is a realm where consciousness makes manifest things, and I know I'm dipping into tulpa territory here, every now and again that shit can break through. Now I don't believe tulpas are real, and I'll say simply why. Freddy Krueger. There's enough kids I knew that might not have thought he was real, but were terrified of him like they were. I was 11 or so when the first one came out, and kids younger were actively horrified. It was like a global phenomenon, at least an American phenomenon. And so things like this would make it. Now, I know we did a fucking pod once on people dying from dream demons, and that's what inspired Craven to write it, but that would work in reverse. That's why I don't think, strictly speaking, if enough people believe in something, it always becomes manifest. But there might be some truth to the idea that something can gain power and manifest in a stronger way based on the attention it's getting.
Yeah, no, I'm a firm believer in that, definitely. But, to play devil's advocate too, I'm going to go back to one of my other theories here, the less fun one. Could have just been a Bigfoot picking up a flashlight. There you go.
Wow. And you know what you just did, buddy?
What's that?
You slayed your magic whale. Congratulations.
Chris would be so proud. Actually, no, I'm sure when he hears us talk about the interdimensional Bigfoot, he's just going to sigh.
Oh, he's going to know. He's going to like, this shit never would have happened if I was there.
If I was there, this shit wouldn't fucking happen.
We miss you,
These
Chris.
fucking clowns. Oh, God. There it is. The Westmoreland Wildman. Interesting story. It's super cool. I hope eventually that the dad, got his shit together and stopped being all prophetic and ruining Christmas and shit. And I mean, it's a bummer when dad goes that way. So, but maybe he was told something. Maybe he just went temporarily insane from seeing something he wasn't used to seeing. And
maybe they're just cosmic dicks who like to fucking fuck with randos because that's just what they are. Punk kids, punk frat boys from another fucking realm.
There it is. Punk
fucking
frat boys.
Feed lies to hardworking American dads and ruin waffle Sundays.
Yeah, exactly.
Rat bastards.
Sons of bitches. There it is. Thank y'all so very much for joining us. Kryptonaut Podcast. HellerSpace.com. We got some stuff for sale. Check it out. T-shirts, hoodies, totes, tapestries. I can never say the word. Fucking phone cases, laptop cases, pillows. There's all kinds of stuff. I don't know.
We have pillows now?
Find something. Yeah, we got pillows, I guess.
Can we make stuffed animals? I want to make stuffed animals. Like not even like complex ones, but like pillows that are shaped like something vaguely.
We recently received actually a Secret Santa present from our Discord from Amanda Kitty's Titties sent it to us. Yeah, she's one of our patrons people, and she sent it to us. She actually was our Secret Santa, and I have them here. Actually, I put pictures on Instagram so you can check them out there. I got the Flatwoods, you got Nessie, and Chris got the Mothman. And they're fucking dope. But yeah, if we could make those, that would be dope. Unfortunately, our manufacturing abilities are none. So we really can't do that. But let
me get on here so I can properly adore this motherfucker. God, they're awesome, Amanda. Holy shit.
Yeah, they're fucking pretty sweet. They're pretty fucking killer. So get yourself some pillows. Patreon.com, $1 is a shout out, $5 is a shout out and bonus audio. Both of those levels of patronage will get you access to the Discord server. The Discord server is the shit. I have it up on my computer all the time. I'm always checking in, seeing what people are doing. Thank you to everybody over there that helps us hold that down. Also to Facebook, our Facebook fan group, join that. It's super dope. Thank you to everyone over there too, who helps fucking hold that thing together, because man, they have a job and a half on their hands. Like, I don't know if you've been on Facebook recently, but boy, is it a little bit intense. So, thank you to them. They are holding that shit together for us. We appreciate that. I think that's it. I think we're going to end this episode by saying, Christopher, get well soon. We miss you. We want to see you back here ASAP. We're sending out all the positive energies and everything to you to heal you quicker.
Hell yeah.
To get you away from your god-awful roommate so that you can be home properly, rummaging around your home as you want to do, and shooting me funny text messages and whatnot. And of course, my little brother Dave, he's up there in the hospital doing well, feeling a little bit better after the transplant. So that's dope. Be sure to share his link if you could please for me. That is cancertiger.com. The more eyes that we get on that website, the more donations that we can get. And yeah, it's super appreciated. So,
absolutely. It's a great cause. Thank you. Thank you for all the contributions. Great dude, great cause. Thank you.
Yeah, and everyone out there, stay safe, take care of each other, do your shit, be cool. I think on the Patreon, I wanted to kick 2021 in the nuts and be like, fuck it, we're done. But I think Rob talked me down. We're just going to give it some time. We're going to see how this shit plays out in a couple of months. If it's still kind of fucked, then we'll call it.
It's the hangover
right
dude.
Now. Yeah,
2020 doesn't go out without a hangover. It's a hangover.
No, it's true. That is true.
We'll get back to prioritizing weird shit again. And it won't be fucking tearing us apart. What the fuck was that from? Tearing me apart. What the
Wasn't it like Nicolas Cage?
Fucking James Dean in Rebel Without a Cause.
Oh, I thought it was Nicolas Cage.
He was shouting to fucking, I don't even remember. I think his dad was Mr. Howell from Gilligan Island. You're tearing me apart, 2021. Cut it the fuck out.
Yes, please. So there it is. Thank you all so very much. And we're talking to you soon.
Goodbye, friends.
See ya. Pennsylvania played host to a spat of sightings of odd,
just
red-eyed...
it's a spate of sightings.
Spat
is a fight. Spate is a group of.
Okay, I'll do it again. Here we go. Okay. All right, let's get started. During the early 1970s, Pennsylvania played host to a spat of sightings. Spate. Shit. Spate. Okay, spate.
I got my nose again anyway.
Spate. Fuck. It's going to fuck me up the entire time. Spate.
Sorry, it's the only time I use it.
Spate of sightings. Okay. Are we good?
We're good.
Okay. Spate. Okay.
Needless to say, the unnamed, presumably teenage girls in the Westmoreland event did not wait around to see what the white-haired creature with the luminous sphere would do next. In their exhaustively researched The Bigfoot Casebook, published in 1982, Janet and Colin Board, the aforementioned, reported that this one specific incident implied more than a casual connection between... I'm going to do that again. I'm sorry, I'm fucking up so much tonight, Mark.
No, that's fine.
In their exhaustively researched The Goddamn, what is wrong with me? I can't even read a simple fucking sentence here. Man, let me get a drink.
Chris is currently in the hospital sending you knife emoji.
I know he is. He totally is.
But you can't receive them because your phone sucks.
That's right. Why do you think I fucking won't upgrade?
I'm going to send him knife emojis.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Currently recording episode with Rob.
He can't say
knife emoji.
He can't say the word researched. They researched the Bigfoot.
They got the Bigfoot there. Hey, where's the Bigfoots? Y'all want to go to the toilet and look at the Bigfoots?
Go on. One's real hairy.
You should just do the pod with that. Just do the pod like that the entire time. And just come back normal like, the Bigfoot's here.
The Bigfoot's here? How you doing? Hey, kids. It's the Bigfoot.
Hey, guys.
We'll be the first podcast kid show. Probably not the first.
Want
but we'll be the worst.
Spear? Yeah, it would be pretty bad. I don't want to
Oh,
see my golden
Sasquatch
spear.
and friends. No, Bigfoot and buddies. That's better.
Bigfoot and buddies. Yeah. Hey guys, it's me, Bigfoot.
Hi.
Make
You
sure
do a
you
better
have a
Bigfoot
buddy
voice.
when you go to the toilet. You don't want to be pooping alone.
Oh my god,
That got weird.
That's when I'll get you. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh God.
What
All
the
right.
fuck is wrong with us, dude?
Because we're fucking shot. Chris isn't here. We're fucked.
Oh no, we need a parent.
Christ.
Chris needs to get better and watch us.
I know. My
we
God.
can't be left alone.
He's just hanging out. He's just hanging out with COVID and pneumonia in a room right now with some dude who's coughing, and he's going to punch the guy.
He's fighting for his life and his patience, and we're fucking 3-year-old idiots.
Oh God! I think his life's okay. His patience have never been good.
No, his patience is never.
His patience is not his thing.
It doesn't even register on the scale. It's
no,
not
it doesn't. It doesn't. Just he right now has his permanent face of doom.
Oh, God bless him. I miss it. All right.
God.
All right. Let's do this for real.
All right.